The key function of SIUSData, it's acquisition of shooting data of a SIUS system and make this data available in a format that is easy to import. When we start SIUSData for the first time, we will get the question for the language we want to have SIUSData working with. We choose English, and then we have this open screen. First, we can select the hardware interface. The hardware interface is the interface with which the computer is connected to your SIUS equipment. Now we have the SIUS network interface in the color white and red. A question, is there a difference for SNI's SIUS network interface with the colors? Yes, we have three different ones. The red one is for data collection, for SIUSData. Then we have a blue one, that's for the 10-lane command desk, that's for spectator monitors, for spectator views. And we have a yellow one. The yellow one is for the SIUS lane. One target connected directly to a computer without any control units of SIUS. When we have selected the LON interface, restart SIUSData. We want to do that. And start SIUSData again. And we will back on the same startup view. To this startup view, the first option is open a new competition and erase all data in monitors. That means completely clear of all data on the computer and also all data in the SIUS equipment. Use this option only if set up the range SIUSData before the competition was started. Delete shooters means if you have already some shooters on the control units, maybe in SIUSData, it will delete all these shooters so that you can start from a clean place. The file name which will be used for the database for SIUSData, it's in the format year, month, day, and then you have the extension CSV. This shows a little bit in which format it is. It's in a text format which you can read with Notepad or even with Excel or some other spreadsheet programs. If you choose this option, open a new competition and read all data from the monitors, cold start, that means if your competition is already started and then you start up the SIUSData and you can clean up already done shots, then this one opens a new database, clear everything on the computer, but after start up the database in SIUSData, it will collect all data from the monitors. There is one thing to know: if you do not have done a clear log, you will be read all data from the last competitions, trainings, and so on. So that's important to know. You have then more information or more shots in your database. This option, open previous competition from hard disk and read missing data from the monitors. This option is to choose if your competition was already start. You have also start SIUSData with one of those two options. and already a database exists, but maybe you have closed SIUSData, something like that, and you have to reopen it, then all data from the hard disk will be read, and all missing data in the database will be collected from the control units. The fourth position is restore a backup. That's important that you have a backup somewhere on an external drive, like a USB stick, USB hard disk, or network. And then you can recover from there and also get only the missing data from the control units. This option is if you have a complete crash of the computer and you have to replace the computer. So that's also the important thing, to have this backup on an external drive and not on the same hard drive then SIUSData already runs. Simulation mode is used for shooting without connected control units, connected range. Then in this case you can use it at home without any range connected, maybe to train and to learn how SIUSData works. Offline means you can read one of the last competition which was already shot, and then you can reload it and discuss it. You can see the what they shoot and so on. We open now with these options because there are some data in the control units, and also we delete shooters, the shooters list, so that we can start from a clean place. It asks me, do you really want to delete all data in the monitor? Yes, I want to delete it. And then because of the first startup, it asks for the function keys. There are different function keys. We have the default, we have a special one for Switzerland, we have a special one for World Cups and World Cup finals. I take the default, so doesn't matter which one I choose now. We have all the times the possibility to choose another one or to adjust to our requirements. Now it needs a little time till SIUSData come up. By the way, in the right upper corner there is a view of my monitor. Here's some information. There is one file in the SIUSData folder which calls rci.ini. That's an important file which can help to do the configuration if you have not a regular one. That means if you have a regular range with, I will say 10 lanes, start with 1, ends with 10, you don't have to make something here. But if you have a range with the first 10 lanes are not electronic targets, and the electronic target starts with 11, then you use those two settings, first channel and last channel. First channel means the first target, last channel means the last target. The software guy starts all the times from 0. That's the reason why first channel is 0, and it means lane number 1. Last channel is 1. It means lane number 2. So if you have now a range with lane numbers that start with maybe 11, then you have to choose here first channel 10 and goes to, if you have 10 target, goes to 19. That means 10 plus 1 gives you the lane number 11, 19 plus 1 gives you the lane number 20. And if you save that, restart SIUSData, then you have lane number 11 to 20. That is one of the important things to know if the range is not a regular range that starts from 1. We do not save this one in my case. So to set up the SIUSData at the first time is to check here the version with which the SIUSData communicate with the SIUS control units. Here you see the control unit 951 in the version 2.1.0, and this must be the same version you have on the monitor. And if you see at the small monitor in the right upper corner, you see below, underneath the SIUS man, you see the COS main 2.1.0. This version there must be the same as here. So if this one does not correspond with the one on your control units monitor, you can adjust it right here at the command settings, and here you can select change control unit version. Please make sure you are not in a live competition. And here you can choose your version that you have on your devices, on your SIUS range. If the one you need is missing, you can download the latest SIUS loader from the internet on software SIUS.com. I can show you that. SIUS loader. You can also filter here. And here you have the SIUS loader. This SIUS loader is to update the range, but it not only updates the control unit, target, and so on, it updates also the LON interface driver, and also you see it here, SIUSData upgrade patch to the latest version that you need here to choose. Important, first install, if you have a blank computer, first install SIUSData, then install SIUS loader, because SIUS loader must know that a SIUSData is installed. Only then SIUS loader will also install the patch for the actual versions. Then you can choose here your version. We have now the already set to the correct one. I will close and back here. One important thing is also to set the range type here to which type you have. If you have 300 meter air pressure, 2550 meter, or some other ranges or modes which are available on this software version here. And that's important to have this one corresponding to the control units. Otherwise, you have here modes or competition available which are not available on the control unit itself. So we leave it on 300 meter. So that's the setup of SIUSData to work for the first time with SIUSData. My way is now to go through these icons here, because they are more or less all function you have also here on top. And with this, you have more or less everything you need for the functions and to use it. This view here, if you go hover over the icon, you see also the description view lane grid. It's the same as here. Here you have an overview over all your lanes. Here you have the lane, you have some symbols here, you can activate your lane, you have name, start number, nation, team, you have here also some lane commands to start competition, stop competition, and set up the lane directly for this lane itself, not for the whole range. And you can, this overview you can adjust here with the visible grid columns. Sometimes less is more. That means if you have less information or only the information you really need, then you have not a lot of information that confuse you. This can be set up in 5 different views. We see it after how you can configure these views. This view is the view lanes overview. Here you have all the lanes which you have installed in a quick overview. For only my 2 lanes, that's not a big range. It's not the big deal to have an overview. But if you have many lanes, maybe 20, 30, 60 lanes, something like that, then it's very helpful because here you see if there some special events occurs. And also to set up some special things, that's the demo mode. And if you see now in the upper right corner on my monitor, you see the note demo on. This one is for the shot sensor. We don't need shot sensor on ranges, on small ranges, only 300 meter has normally shot sensor. That's the reason why it's off. And I have switched on demo mode to do shooting without live fire, only by pressing insert on the control unit. We can do it if you have touch screen. You can do it by pressing on the demo. Or we can do it by using here the virtual keypad and press here the insert button. Oh, first I have to make the lane active. Activate, I can do it here. Go back in this view. Now you see it's active. We have 2 shots fired, and this yellow blinking shows us that there is something or wrong on this lane. Here in this view, you see only here this triangle that something happens. And maybe, especially if you have many lanes, you oversee that. When we now go back here and we start a program, we take here free rifle 60 prone, and we can start it right on the lane. Is no shooter assigned. I take shooter number 1, name test, and we start. Now the monitor goes to ready, and now we can do shooting again. Now you see we are in sighting mode, sighters here, and we can do some sighting shots. Okay, there is some, again, a 10. That means we can start with the program. With the competition, we can switch here with the remote control to match. And now also the target and switch to match. And if I do some shooting here, I can follow the shooting right here, or now also in this view here, I see directly what's going on at the target to have an overview. That's that's more or less only an overview. If you want to have something that it looks much more nicer than that, please use 10-lane command task. 10-lane command task is specially made for follow the competition, especially for spectators, and it looks more nice. And also the printout which you can get from 10-lane command task are more comfortable than this view here. That's the view of the signal lanes. The shooter view, you see now my shooter, start number 1, name test, which is automatically inserted here if I enter it here. I can do also the other thing. I can make insert a shooter number 2, that's test 2, and if I enter here the start number, I get automatically the name of the shooter number 2. Here is also the possibility to choose more or less columns in different possibilities as you prefer. You can insert here the shooters, you can also delete here shooters, you can sort it. Ranking, that's only a small ranking, it ranks only the average here. You can also import some shooter lists, and also you can export some shooter lists, maybe for a next competition. A tip, if you want to import, if you have your own list of shooters and you want to import it to SIUSData, I do it in the following way. I insert a shooter, then I enter here some dummy data. That means ID 1, start number 1 I have already. I take 3. Then here name, first name, display name, nation, and then I export this list, and after export I open this list with Excel, something like that, and look how columns are assigned, and then I can take my own start list and build it up in the same way. In the end, I will show you also the help. So in the end of the help of SIUSData, you have there the description how the start list is set up. An important thing to know is here the ID. That's not important to fill up here something, but I prefer to fill up here at least at one entry, at the dummy entry, because the reason for that is if you export it and you import it in Excel, you will have this column also in Excel, but it will be empty. And then you have the start numbers, name, and so on. And if you export the start list, then again in Excel to import it back to SIUSData, Excel will reduce or will not export this empty column here. So that means the start number will be then the ID, name will be start number, and the import of the names will crash. So Important all the times, fill up each column here, then Excel will do it in a correct way. The next icon is the data backup. Now we will get an error message. Please enter first backup drive and path in the settings. At the moment, we do not have specified the drive, and will automatically open the correct setting. Go here to backup, and here you can add your drive for backup. As I already told you, please take an external drive, network drive, something like that. So then if the computer will crash, you have for sure your backup reloaded. Maybe this one will be helpful automatically every 10 minutes. So that means if you forget to press this button, then you will have all 10 minutes automatically a backup of your complete shooter and shot list. Here you can print the lane view. Here you can have a preview of the lane view. Here you can select shooter. I take shooter number 1 now. So you see you have an easy view and also an easy possibility to have a printout of the shots. But if you want to have something that looks a little bit more modern, a little bit more comfortable to read, use 10-lane command desk instead. It's much more better. Here you can set up the view a little bit. You can say how many targets per page. You can have here header, footers, and you can have coordinates, secondary scores, and so on. It looks in an older style. If you want to have something comfortable, take 10-lane command desk. And now the next icons are hidden. The reason for that, it's very easy, because we are now in the shooter view, and in the shooter view, these functions are not available. Now we go back to the lane view, and now it comes available. Those two icons are to ignore and insert shots. So if we know there was a cross shot from lane number 2 to lane number 1, this 10, we can ignore it. And you see here what happened with the total. When I press here to ignore, the total goes to 50, and this field here turns to red. So this shot is ignored. If you want to insert the shot, you can select the field here, go to insert shot, then you have here a 0. If you make a double click on it, you can enter here primary score, that's the competition score, and you can make here an 8. Take care of secondary score and divisions. Why it's easy? Because secondary score and divisions can be used maybe to rank if you have equal totals, something like that, or especially in Germany, they have some competition that the lowest division wins. In Switzerland, the highest secondary score wins, and if you enter here maybe 0 at division, this one will win the competition for the divisions. And also here, if you enter a secondary score, it can happen that then this shooter wins the competition in case of this manually inserted shot. And if we go to save, you can see what's happened with the total. It switched now from 50 to 58. Important to know is that the control unit does not follow our manual ignored or inserted shots here. Only programs that comes after SIUSData, like SIUS rank, something like that, will take care of this ignore and insert. On the control unit, you have you see it in the right upper corner. The last shot, number 6, is again a 10. Then this I can select lanes. You can here easy select all lanes or deselect if you want to have no lane selected. It's more or less if you have bigger ranges to select, deselect. Maybe if the competition starts, do a deselect on all lanes, then you can do not make adjustments from here and also from the function keys. Here it's clear names, to clear the names on the control unit. Import shooters, if you work together with SIUS rank, you can load the start list directly with the one that you get from SIUS rank. With this icon, you can send the shooter names again to the control units. And here it's the same as here. Here it's only on the lane, only for this lane. You don't have to activate it. It goes directly if you press here on the lane start stop. And here you must activate the lanes. Other function also here. You see no lane is active. First we have to active one, and then we can send names, shot sensor on and off, demonstration mode, and so on. Settings here. Common settings for the range. Remote control. That's the meaning when I send here with this button. In the first column, it's requested by the monitor. If the monitor requests something, you can say what we want to send from SIUSData. And on column number 2, that's the information we send when we press this button here. If you select demo shot mode here, then this green border here switch to red. So if you have one time here, instead of a green, a red border, you only have to take this checkbox away. Backup we have already discussed about. Lane view, here you can say which columns you want to see, cross shot symbol, illegal shot symbol, lane number, nation, team, and so on. And you can have up to 5 different sets so that you have a view with all information, and then you can also go to only the important things you want to have during competition. Then number of columns here, it's the meaning here if you in this view here how many that you have here. If you have 10, that means 10, and then next line 10 and so on. Single lane, here you can change the color if you like to of the view that we have seen before. And start list also, the column chooser, which column you want to see. Sometimes less is more. Here is data export settings. The important thing is this path here. It points automatically to the SIUSData data installation directory. Here normally you can leave it on this directory or if you want to have it somewhere else. The other things are older exports. Excel export or SIUS rank. SIUS rank does not work anymore with this export. It connects directly by TCP/IP. Norway and Atos, that's the very old system. We don't use this any longer. Here is data import settings for the Swiss Shooting Sport Federation. If you have set active, you have another way to import some start lists. Take this one. Here we can choose the Verein. Okay. And if we select this one, we can import also shooters which are in this text file. There is a sample text file which I choose also now. You can have a look into this file and see how you can import the shooters. Important thing to know, this works only if you enter the start number directly at the lane by barcode scanner or by enter the shooting number. It doesn't work here. If you enter here the number, the start number, it does not import it from this start list. We here in Switzerland, we have some license cards which we can read. And when we read this with the barcode scanner at the lanes, you see it now, fire number with this number. And if we go here, stop now the competition, yes. And we start the competition with the new shooter. That's the way it goes here in Switzerland. And then we can shoot. It has take here the wrong shooter. If you make some changes like I have done now, and that's a good example for that, restart SIUSData all the times if you import the new shooters, that SIUSData can read this start list at startup. And that is also a good example to show you. Please do some practice, maybe at home in the simulation mode with your competition before you start with the real competition, and not only 1 hour before the competition starts. We from support, we can tell you that all of the people which starts enough early to do some practice with SIUSData, maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks before, and also do some testing in trainings. They will have a competition which will work without any problems. The most problems came up here in support when the range called us at support. We are half an hour away from starting competition. Shooters wait already, and SIUSData doesn't work as we have to, and then it's very hard to have SIUSData up and running because everything is nervous. No regular thinking is possible. So do testing before you have your competition. Best thing is 2-3 weeks in front of, so then you are sure that everything works as you expect. Function keys, here you see the function keys that I have loaded. The default one I can here import here, of course, my default again, or I can have also an empty one. So the empty means no predefined function keys. And I can do function keys by myself. I can do here an icon. I take the box, add, and I choose barcode. If you know and if you are familiar with SIUS barcode library, it's the easiest way because the tree here is identical with the barcode library. In the barcode library, you have the possibility to search also for function, and it's also for the ones that use the control units by keypads. It's the same tree here as on the keypad. That means I want to have a program 300 meter ISSF free rifle 60. I choose this one, and I have here the button now. And if I press this button, to all ranges will be sent exactly this function. That means if I press here, it stops the actual competition and starts with the free rifle 60 and sighters. And I have the possibility to here also to add more functions, not only one. I can add again barcode. I go to control, add zoom, because I know the shooters are very good shooters, and also a zoom so that the center is bigger. I check here for the number 252, and you see now it's enter here. But be careful here with the zooms. First select the competition and then the zoom. So down, and we can add one more. Control zoom again, or we take the match. Now it sets up the competition, go to match and then zooms. There are different questions. It's possible to create custom shooting programs. Yes, that's possible. That's we can do it by Barcode library. I can give you a short view how it looks like. Here that's the Barcode library. You see the same tree. I go here to user, insert customer barcode, and then you can choose your distance. We leave it on 300 meter, and then we can say sighting shots. With P0, 0 means open. You have to press here the match button. Insert group, we go to single 10, insert group, insert group. We can give them a name, test webinar, and if we press OK, that's user barcode for this competition. We can press here update SIUSData. Yes, we can have a look. I have to restart it. We take this one, open previous. Then this one is to adjust this overview here. These icons you can add or remove. If you want to have less information here, you can remove it. Range configuration, here you see the things I told you from the RCI file. Normally this one is only used at startup if you want to set up everything, especially during a competition. Maybe it makes sense to switch off this view here by take this one away like that. So you don't can adjust the range configuration. Rapid fire, that's special for rapid fire. Check lane numbers. Here it will be checked if there are problems found on the lanes. It reports no problems found. Here the keypad, the virtual keypad. Here is to check for the events, illegal shots. You see we have two of them. That was the ones that I have done before we start the competition on the monitor. We also can clear this one, close. If it's happened here, we go to stop. We do another illegal shot. You see it also here. And this one is to clear this information here, that we can start from a clean view. Here the bug is to debug, to report some special events. Normally that's we use that, or if there's something special happen on your range, that we use it together, you and we, to get more information about special event. Here we have a shot statistic. You can start here shot statistic, and you see we have 0 own shots because I don't can live fire here. Cross shot I don't know have either. Missed shot also no missed shot, but I have 71 demo shots. I have 4 illegal shots, the ones that I have done now. Inserted shot, that means manually inserted by the function on the control unit or by barcode. And shot counter, that's something special here in Switzerland. We have some distribution boxes which have mechanical shot counters, and they can be tested. And if a shot counter was tested, you see it also here. You can start it, export it. Maybe if you have more different teams that shoots on the range, or if you want to make calculation after each shooting day, how many shots were fired on which lane, you can use this one, export it, and you have a small overview how many shots was fired during your trainings and competition. Cross shots, that means if you have shot sensor and if you have some shots on the wrong target, you see then the timestamp, lane, you see also the score, primary, secondary, and XY to have all information of this shot. Here is the TCP/IP connection link to SIUS View. The SIUS View is not longer supported. That's the old version of 10-lane command desk, is not longer available. Here, setup language, to change the language if you want, if you have choose the wrong one at the beginning. Information about the SIUSData. SIUSData is since longer time the same. If you find on the internet a new download, that means then only the new version here are included for control units 951, 941. The SIUSData itself will be the same, and will be the same in future for all LON network ranges. Reconnect range to reconnect the control units to the computer. And here load special definitions. If you have barcode definition files, which you can generate also in barcode library. I can go here back to barcode library. We have, that's the meaning this one. I can go here, create shortcut file, and so then I can go here, select this webinar 2, and now wait till you get a feedback. It needs time, which is needed to download this function to the control units. Shortcode programs loaded. Maybe you know this already, that's the menu you have during shooting. You can have a subtotal, show, print screen, abort, escape. Here you can have different possibilities of view of this menu. You can have the long one, which has all possible functions. You can have a small one like zoom, something like that. and you can switch it off. That's during competition, and if you go to stop here, and you go to menu again, you see now in the menu webinar SIUS, and you see our new made test webinar, and I can choose test webinar, and enter. And now I can start our test shooting with sighting open and then 10, 10, 10. So you can do it directly at the monitor. So the shooter does not have stand up. He can do it in his position to select different competition which is programmed. And also you have here the possibility, if you are in stop, you go back to stop. You have here, you see the third key, it calls SC programs. If you press here, you see also the webinar SIUS and test webinar, the two different user barcodes we have generated in Barcode Library. By the way, Barcode Library is available on softwaresius.com for free, so you can use it if you like to. If you want to delete the shortcut programs on the control unit, then you can use this button. So that's more or less the whole functions of SIUSData. One thing I want to show you is the help, because everything what I have talking about is more or less in this help. You see here the setup, how it looks like. You see all the icons and the meaning of the icons. Here you see everything of that. If you need help, you see description of the different views. And maybe one important thing, if you don't use SIUSData that much often, these signs here, what is the meaning of this triangle that we also get? Shot in stop mode, that's correct, that was the thing that I have done, that's the reason for this sign, but also here, shot on the wrong target, cross shot, and so on, what the meaning of, and here of these icons to start lanes, stop lanes. Here you see also the red border when you switch to debug mode. Here you see a bigger overview, and you see here the different meanings of what is the meaning if you are gray, orange, yellow flashing, and also here what you see all in this view, what is the meaning of these small boxes. And a lot more information. I want to go down till here. A short information about the Excel macro. We have done, that's years ago, Excel macro to import and export the shooters data to Excel. But the big problem of that is that Excel has changed all the times the functionality and also the safety for virus issues. And that was the reason why we have to modify the Excel macro from each Excel version to the next one. And when we have adjusted to the newest, latest version of Excel, it doesn't work on the old Excel. So that was the reason why we have stopped to develop here in this macro. And now we come to the end of the help, and here you see the description of the shot data format. You see here start number, primary score, if it is a match shot, it means sightless match or final shot, lane number, you see secondary score divisions, time, you see also if it is in time, that means red green for 25 meter, you see sweep direction if you have a running target, demo mode, which I use now on my control unit, and a lot of more information. And you see here if it is a number and if you have decimals or not, and how big the number is. And the same we have here for the start list format. You have here the ID, which are characters up to 16. We have start number, um, family name, first name, and so on. And you see also how big it can be here, if it is woman, man, or mixed. In the file itself, there is no header with this information, but you find all this information here in SIUSData. I'm at the end of my presentation of SIUSData. I will say thank you to all joining this webinar and interesting in this webinar, and hope that you will have seen a lot to do your work with SIUSData and give your range more possibilities with SIUSData.